you can ride up and down here. There's wineries all over the place, and basically this whole valley is dedicated to the pursuit of making wine.
You're listening to Experience This, a show about the emerging experience economy with your host, Tom Young.
Hi, everybody. This is Tom Young. Let's go around the table. We're not in the room.
This is Rohan Kapoor.
This is Karen Bajwa.
This is Bart Gallo.
Hey, so we are actually not in a room. We're outdoors here in Napa Valley. We're in a town called, is it Yountville?
Yountville.
Yountville. And we're across from the Bougie Bakery.
The Boujon Bakery.
The Boujon Bakery. And we're sitting here in a marketplace at a table outside. We found some electrical power and plugged our gear in. And anyway, we spent the last day and a half here in Napa checking things out. You guys have a good time yesterday?
Awesome time.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Stumbled upon our tour guide. It was a great find for the area.
Yeah, so Karen, what was his name again?
So his name was Manny. So he was referred to us by the Napa Valley Marriott, and he was awesome. So Manny's been living in town for about 22 years, and they call him the mayor of town, but Manny says he's going to be the president.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, he took us around. The first stop we went to was this winery called John Anthony, and we went to the church location in Los Caneros.
Mm-hmm.
And it was private for us. We had about 7 people there. It was great, fantastic. It was an old a church that they disassembled from Pennsylvania and reassembled here in California.
Yeah,
very, very nice. It was excellent.
Very intimate experience.
It
right?
was
Quite different from transitioning from there to. We next went to Robert Mondavi.
Right, which is probably one of the largest, corporate. Winemakers now. There's one of the largest wineries, right? So, but their facility is also very nice. It's very different. So you get a full feel for the scale of production that's required to make the amount of wine that they make.
Yeah, I think John Anthony was definitely a very personalized, intimate experience. The Robert Mondavi vineyards, again, like you said, amazing scale, but just felt a little less, kind of a bit more commercial, a bit more reading from a book versus like.
Telling you a story.
Yeah. I think John Anthony had the whole converted church into a tasting room aspect, just a lot of unique kind of craft elements. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Mondavi was a good experience too.
Yeah.
So you get a sense of this whole, there's a town of Napa, and then there's the Napa Valley. And then the Napa Valley extends up, 25 miles up from the base of Napa all the way north up to
Calistoga.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of like Oakville and
St. Helena, Yountville.
Yeah. So so you can ride up and down here. There's wineries all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this whole valley is dedicated to the pursuit of making wine.
Yeah, even down to the festivals. The guy John Anthony was telling us about Bottle Rocks, which is a music festival, something like 50,000 people. They have big acts come in here, but it's all centered around wine, which is pretty cool. Sounds like a cool experience to do.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say personally, I like wine. I would say I like wine, but I'm not a wine
aficionado.
And I would say after the 15th or 16th glass of wine. Now these are not full glasses of wine. They're right, smaller pours, but it's kind of lost on me after a while. I could definitely tell the difference early on, but then after a while, it was just like, all right, just
the cabs taste like cabs.
Just keep pouring.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I had to refrain from pulling out Delectable on my phone a couple of times to check.
Well, I did check, and a lot of the wines that they sell here at the vineyards are not usually publicly available. They have. Basically, all the vineyards have memberships in clubs, and you pay a flat fee, and they ship you stuff quarterly, twice a year, and then you get access to the winery for tastings and things like that. But a lot of the stuff that they sell, the reserves and some of their top labels, are for members only. And so it was interesting to me. When we were at Mondavi, about how they do the selection for the reserves. So they basically have a small committee, including the winemaker, will look at a batch of, say, 200 barrels, and they may pick the best 4 or 5 and then set them aside and put them in a reserve label. And very interesting how they do that.
Yeah.
But those reserves end up sitting only for consumption locally. So very interesting. It's an interesting model of creating some exclusivity.
Yeah.
So like we're across the street from the Boujon Bakery.
Yes.
The line was. It
Yeah.
was
Out
like
the door.
It was like getting a croissant. No, it's not croissant. What's the thing?
Bougie croissant.
Cronut.
Oh, like getting a cronut in New York.
Yeah, the cronut in New York. You got to wait in line to get it, and there's like
Yeah.
a limit. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've got the French Laundry restaurant somewhere next door as well. And I think both the bakery and the restaurant are both owned by Thomas Keller, who's now built up a brand to the point where I think it's like a year waiting list to get into the French Laundry.
I looked crazy.
it up. It's about $500 a head to go there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they don't have like cheeseburgers or
I'm sure it's
chicken fingers.
French-based cuisine.
It's and it's actually it's a chef's tasting menu, so you're there to experience whatever they want to put in front of you, and they bring in world-class chefs to work there. So it's equivalent to Per Se in New York. On Columbus Circle, same kind of pricing structure, same kind of menu structure.
Yeah.
I think for people coming out to Napa, the big thing to keep in mind is it's a nice, relaxing, sleepy environment. So you spend your day doing the wine tastings, and what we did about 4. I think 4 is probably good. And then after that, people probably go to a really nice dinner. And then it's not like there's this buzzing nightlife. It's more of wine tastings, beautiful dinner, and then you kind of wrap things up. Maybe some stuff's happening in your hotel lobby. But it's pretty chill, I think, for the most part out here.
Yeah. There's a certain calmness I'm sensing as well from everyone out here. It's not fraternity brothers on any kind of vacation.
Yeah, if you were to come here for more than 2 or 3 days, I would take each day and follow the less is more routine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I don't think I would want to do 4 or 5 wine tastings 3 or 4 days in a row. That would be too much. Mm-hmm. But you mix it in with a spa day or just relaxing day. The scenery around here is quite nice. Now we had mixed weather yesterday, but today is beautiful. It's a little cool.
Right.
But I imagine coming here during the harvest time, say some August to September, when it's a little bit more buzzing, you get a sense of how they actually make the wine. So we're here, the vines are
Pretty bare right now.
well, they're bare essentially. But when you come here in the late summer, early fall, right around the harvest time, it's buzzing with fruit and the whole wine scenes here, and you get a different sense when you walk through the vineyards.
Yeah. And I imagine these tasting rooms probably just get absolutely slammed. So I think reservations for a couple of vineyards that you'd want to go to are probably key, especially during September through November. And it's not cheap. So the tastings are $40, and you get about four to five different wines. Yeah,
I mean it's not. If you're looking to get a cheap drink, this is not the way to do it. It really is an exposure to the high-end wines.
Yeah.
The wines that they're selling in these tastings are that they want you to, essentially they're promoting, are I would say $50 a bottle and up, and up being the operative word.
Right.
Not a lot of table wine for $12 or $20 is much higher than that. So this is not for everybody. This is not an inexpensive place to come, but if you're into wine, this is sort of like the wine cathedral of California here.
And we've talked before about experiences and how much planning can kind of set expectation, and then the actual experience of it could maybe not live up to what you've planned. I think having an aspect of not planning some of the vineyards that you're going to go to is really important, because we planned the main ones, which I'm sure everyone will see on if they do a search for Napa, the Robert Mondavis, the big ones. But actually, the one that we probably enjoyed the most was the one that we didn't have a plan for. It kind of just came up from Manny. From Manny, yeah.
Agree with that.
I think have an aspect, plan a bit if you want to. Ideally, if it was me, I probably wouldn't plan at all and just turn up and stop where I felt. And I think sometimes that can lead to a cool experience.
You got to trust the locals, I think, as well,
I think
right?
that was key. We outsourced the planning to our expert guide from the area, which helped us stumble upon that.
So we talked to a lot of people when we were coming out here, and they gave us a lot of advice on different things. One of the things from one of our buddies, Tom Lang, he's come out here a couple of times, and he's gone to the very small vineyards, even smaller than what we went to the first one. And he got a sense that he hung out at the vineyard for half a day, and it was even more informal because it was actually a working vineyard, so you got a much better sense of what's required to actually make the wine. And it's a little bit more of a, I'll call it a behind the scenes approach. So if you were going to come for more than say 2 days, a 2-day weekend, you'd want to try to figure out how to go do that, how to go find and spend 1 day at a small working vineyard so you can get a sense of, how they prep the soil, how they prune the vines, how they take care of things, look at the process of actually harvesting and making the wine. Like even things like, I was amazed at the machinery that they had to destem the. It's especially at Mondavi, it's a huge operation. But how do they do it at the small operations? Is it done by hand? What's the way to do that? The other thing that was interesting I found is they harvest at night. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that, but that was.
I didn't think that either. Why? Do you know why that was? They're just the.
It had to do with the sunlight and the sugars, and I guess the plants are. You get a more consistent. I guess it's a more consistent sugar chemical composition. So they try to get it all done right away, so you get some consistency across the grape when you harvest.
I was really amazed at the detail, like the technical details that kind of go into it. I knew it was there. I just didn't appreciate at what level.
I knew I didn't know much about wine, but I didn't know how much I didn't know about wine. So it kind of put that into perspective.
Yeah,
so
it's really good.
I'm going to try to get back here with my daughter here later this fall. Come back during the harvest time. She's wanting to come out here for a while, and so I'm going to try to do that. And we'll probably be calling Manny and saying, "Hey, can you take us around one of the days?" But you also want to get a car and drive around yourself and just wander and explore without any obligation, and see what you see. So it's pretty interesting.
Yep.
So we are sitting. Like I said, in this, what's the name of this place? I think it's
downtown Yountville.
Downtown Yountville. We're in this marketplace. We're sitting out front, and it's starting to get a little bit of a buzz. We got here a little early, and people are starting to walk around wondering what the hell we're doing here with all this gear sitting outside.
Yeah. Right in front of the V Marketplace.
The bakery was very good, the Bouchon Bakery.
Yeah,
we went
that was
there.
delicious.
I had I think I got a ham and cheese croissant. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's really good stuff.
People should come here just to check it out. It's one of the famous go-to places.
There's definitely going to be a line for anyone that comes, but it's worth waiting in line.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
People can survive.
Yep.
Whether you go to the French Laundry, it's not a laundromat. But if you go there, that's a totally different experience. That's $1,000 for a couple. So if you can get in. I
think that's reserved for special occasions.
Yeah,
probably.
But there's a lot of nice places around here. And again, I encourage people, if you're into wine, you can make a trip out here. Especially if you're going to San Francisco, this is a nice 2 days.
Definitely.
2 day stop.
It's an easy. It took us about an hour in the morning on Friday morning.
You could even day
here.
trip it up here from San Francisco.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think staying here, you get a little bit of a different feel. So, anything else? What are we going to do the rest of the day?
Whatever we want.
Living by our own motto.
Can't plan more than an hour ahead. Not allowed.
So we have a flight tomorrow, and we have 2 cars, and we have no place to stay tonight yet, and no plans.
It's exciting.
It's great.
We have no idea what's going to happen, and we have Sean, our talent manager, talking to some of the crowd here, is able to engage with a nice young local lady, and hopefully he can give us a pointer on maybe where we go somewhere after this. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's really good.
Anything else, guys?
That's it for me.
Looking forward to the rest of the day. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, thanks everybody.
All right,
Thanks.
talk to you guys soon. Hey, this is Karen Bajwa. Thanks for checking out the show today. If you like what you heard, head on over to our website, rumjog.com. If you happen to be in the New York or New Jersey area, come check out our meetup called Digital Disruption. We cover topics like you heard today with a live audience. Lastly, don't forget to follow us on social media using the handle @Rumjog. Talk to you soon.